Your first impression is very important as it is the one remembered by the other person. Show yourself as anxious and introvert and they will remember you as this their whole life. Be confident and actively speak to others and new doors will be opened for you. While this skill of being attractive seems intuitive, it's actually very easy to master, and in this video I'm going to show you how. Just 2 years ago I was the typical introverted kid in class. I didn't have much self-confidence, I didn't even know what to say to other people, and that is why I didn't even go up to them in the first place. And as you can guess, from that my mental health wasn't very good. I always felt alone, I didn't have a very big social circle, and in general, it wasn't going well for me. But this went on for a very long period of my life as I got more depressed, as I lost more friends, and as I generally went more and more into myself. But luckily, did I never really give up, because I always had high intentions of being very successful and very popular amongst my people. So what I did was first of all analyze all of the people that had a very high social attraction. But I didn't just look at them and what they did, how they looked, how they interacted, but I also looked at how they were treated. The first time that these people met a new person, the other person instantly liked them. And it was like they've known each other for almost 10 years. Their first conversation was smooth. They didn't have any awkward pauses. They did not know what to say to each other. And you could also see that all of these people that they've just met treated them way better than other people. My first interactions always were a bit awkward, and we just split after 2 to 3 minutes because we didn't know what to say anymore. But with these people, they were actually able to go up to them, to actually spark some interest in the other person, and to therefore be socially accepted by them. And this was for every person that they met throughout their life. This is also a trait that you can see in the most successful people of today's day and age. If you just look at Elon Musk, yeah, he might be a bit awkward, but in general, a lot of people like him. A lot of people can actually talk to him, even though it's their first conversation. And when I analyzed them, I realized that they all had one trait in common, which was why the other person fell in love with them in seconds. The trait was giving the other person a good feeling when leaving the conversation. But to come back to you, you're probably in the same situation as I was back in the day. You're not very talkative, you're not very outgoing, and your social circle probably isn't as big as you want it to. But the thing is that you're not even fully to blame for it, because in today's day and age, with social media, with video games, these two things give us an option of not going up to new people and maybe risking that the first conversation is going to be awkward, but rather to get onto a game of World of Warcraft, to meet some other guy that has the same interest of playing this video game, and to just talk with him without actually getting to know the other person. But what these options have done is that they've made us more introverted. Honestly speaking, it's very much crazy that you've gotten other options for social interactions which don't need us to bond with the other person, to really get to know them, and where it is just enough to talk about one topic. But as you know yourself, there are also a lot of disadvantages with this new model of social interactions. For most of these friends that you made over the internet, you probably don't know from which country they're from. You probably don't know what their hobbies are. For some, you might not even know their real name, but just know their username. And because of normal human nature, I know how much you actually desire having a normal interaction with another person. How much you actually want to bond with another person, build a friendship, interact with them one-on-one, face-to-face, and not just over a computer. And because of this, I want to give you the simplest of steps on how you can improve your social attraction and how you can, in general, make social interactions as smooth as possible. The first step, which is very important, if not even the most important step, is to better your self-image. No matter what you do in life, no matter what you want to achieve, you need to have a good self-image of yourself to really get forward. Because without it, everything is going to fail. Let me just say one sentence to you. If you can't even like yourself, why should the other person? If you can't even trust yourself, why should the other person put trust in you? It doesn't make sense. And you also see that when going into a debate. If you really want to defend one position but are not sure if your arguments can't really get over what you're meaning, then the other person is not going to believe you and he's going to crush you because he's confident in himself and because everything that he says just feels normal to everyone that is listening to them. So what you actually have to do is to really work on your self-image. You really have to like yourself and you have to be confident in yourself. I just want to repeat that again because being confident in yourself, having self-confidence is the key here. How can you better your self-image? You can do it by meditating, you can do it by journaling, you can do it by getting onto work and then building a resume of all of the achievements that you have done. But if I really should give you the cheat code on how to improve your self-confidence by a lot, then it is to go training. I myself had the biggest confidence boost in my life when I started with training. And with every person that I have spoken to, they all said the same thing. And it's logical, because your physical health is directly correlated to your mental health. So if you take care of your physical health, your mental health will also be sorted. But as I said, the one thing that you really have to look out for and that you really have to improve is your self-confidence. Step 2. Whether you consider yourself as an ex or introvert, you really have to learn how to be a proper extrovert. And trust me, I know a lot of people that would consider themselves as an extrovert but don't know how to be properly outgoing. What's really the main point of being an extrovert is that you get out of your mind, that you get out of your area, and that you are really wanting to go to another person and get to know a lot about them. The main point is really that you go to them, ask about their interest, and in general put the whole focus on them. And it sounds very hard, it even sounds horrible for a lot of people that are anxious, that don't have a big self-confidence. But trust me, as it is way easier to execute than you think it is. And if you wanted to make it really easy for yourself, then you should start by approaching a group of people. Because the simple thing is that they're not going to be bothered by you joining in. They're probably distracted by the conversation or the one thing that the whole group is doing. Because you know that yourself, that in public or especially in school, groups only form when there is a debate, when they have one thing in common that they all do. For example, in today's day and age, it is that so many people get together for playing one video game. At least in my class that is the case. And when you join in, the best tactic is to ask a question about what is going on, what they're talking about, or in general what they are doing. Another great thing is if you ask a question where the other person can help you. Because as you know yourself, when you can help someone out, you get an instant good feeling and feel better about yourself. So if you go in and really ask a question that the other person can answer, you instantly have a very good starter to the conversation because you instantly give a good feeling to the other person. And if you remember the beginning, this is the main point why the most successful people are so attractive. Then after you've asked a question, the conversation is going to flow by itself, and you will just need a lot more practice to get more confident and to then do it with another person one-on-one. It is really the simplest tactic that you can use, but so effective and not considered as shitty small talk. Then whether you speak to one person or a whole group, you should always go in with the intention of getting to know more about the other person. What I mean by that, and what I've already talked about, is putting the focus on the other person. And how do you do it? You go in and ask a question. Then you hold normal eye contact with them. That shows that you're listening to them. Then you also have to nod to show them that you're really understanding what they're saying. And the last step, which is very important, is that you ask the right questions at the right time. But what are the right questions? What is the right time? That is too hard. It really isn't if I just tell you that the right time is when they have spoken out, when they have finished their sentence. But what can also make you way more attractive is if you can leave pauses in your conversation. Most of the people can't do that. They leave a pause in a conversation and then instantly start to sweat, to be anxious, to look at the other person in a weird way, and to therefore make the whole conversation and this pause that they're having awkward. But if you really can embrace the pause, if you can live in it, then the other person will feel much more comfortable speaking to you. And then when the pause was long enough, you can ask your question, you can answer, you can tell a story that you can relate to what has happened to the other person. It is that simple. So what is the main point of the step is that you really go in with the intention of getting to know more about the other person and to then listen to what they have to say. Because in today's day and age, most of the people just need someone to listen to them. I am the same. I would love to tell everyone about what has happened in my life, how something has happened that has made me very happy. I would love to tell that to someone if they're really listening. So if you can go in there and kind of be like a therapist for them, then they will actually like you more, because most of the people love talking about what has happened in their life and about themselves. And obviously, as I said in the pauses, you can tell your own story, you can ask your own questions. But in general, even when you're in other situations in life, you should generally be more of a listener than a speaker. When you go into a room and speak a lot, and by a lot I actually mean a ton, then a lot of people are going to perceive you as dumb. Because the more you talk, the more mistakes you're going to make, the more wrong things you're going to say, and the more they're going to realize that you're kind of insecure. But if you go in and actually just listen to other people, just listen to what they have to say and kind of then create a secrecy around yourself, then you will actually be more attractive to other people. They then want to go over to you because they don't know why you're just listening to what other people have to say. And they do want to know. And that is the same thing with kind of creating a secrecy when you're just listening to the other person. The third step that I've already talked about is to let the other person go with a better feeling about themselves. And if you've done all of the steps beforehand, then you already are 90% of the way there. But to really make sure that the other person is having a very good feeling when talking to you is that you praise everything that they're talking about, everything that they've done, all of the things that they have tried, and generally just for the person that they are. Because when you praise someone, they will think, okay, every time when I speak to this person, I leave with a good feeling. So the good feeling must be correlated to the person. Because the thing is, if a lot of people correlate this good feeling with you, they will want to talk with you more. And when a big group of people is just standing around you, or a big group of people is actually talking to you, then other people that didn't even know you in the first place, that you've never met, they will actually think, okay, this person is very popular and everyone is leaving with a good feeling. So that must mean that when I now go up to him, I should also have that good feeling. These people are kind of marketing you to other people that you've never met. And that is essentially how your social attraction is created. Through you going through all of these steps and through other people assuring that you are a person that they like talking to. So really emphasize the point of leaving the other person with a good feeling. Because the other step, going in with the intention of getting to know more about them, will also leave them with a good feeling. Listening to them will also leave them with a good feeling. Or the next step, that you should practice going out there, that you should obviously practice getting better at it. But every time that you practice, you should still be yourself. What do I mean by that? Well, most of the people go out there and try to meet new people and try to be as perfect as they can. But when they do that, when they are correct, when they are nice, when they're as honest as they can be, they kind of hide their true personality, or therefore are a bit more to themselves, because they constantly think about, okay, what am I going to say next? What am I going to do next? I don't know. And when they're doing this, they're kind of again giving the picture of that they're unsure of themselves. But some people have actually practiced it really well and kind of have an other persona with them. But there again, your main goal is to really build a relationship with the other person, or to at least have a very nice conversation with them. And you can't have that if the other person is liking your persona, but not you yourself as a personality. So what you really have to do is that you go out and be yourself, that you smile more, that you're more open with your gestures, that you generally tell them if they've said something bad, if they said something that you don't like, because in today's day and age, not a lot of people have the balls to do that. And because of that, many people will respect you when you say to them, hey, that was not correct, man. And if you've done all of the steps beforehand, then they will definitely respect this wish from you because they already like you. But one more important lesson before I let you go is that no matter how perfect you're going to get in executing these steps, no matter how nice, honest, or good of a person you are, there will always be people that will hate you for no reason. I know it's hard. I know that you want everyone to like you, but it's not going to happen. Because what I really want to say is that when you have these people that don't like you for no reason, that you just go out of their way, literally forget about them, and go on meeting new other people. Because wasting your time and energy on getting them to like you is literally throwing all of your energy into the bin. Because they're never going to like you. When you put in all of the time and effort that you have so that eventually they may like you, you will ruin all of the previous relationships that you have built. So don't follow these people, don't even listen to them. Just move out of their way and concentrate on the really good relationships that you have. So this obviously may sound like a lot, but if you really put in the practice and if you really go in, get better with every conversation that you have, then eventually nothing will stop you and you will be the most attractive person in every room that you enter. So what I want you to do is to get out there and start talking to new people. It's definitely going to change your life. But before you do that, you should work on your self-image, and for that you should watch this video right after.